we've got a licensed peace officer in the state of Minnesota making an application to this court for a warrant to search the premises, and the person described below for the property and thing described below. I know that the content of this application and affirm the statements contained in this application are true based on my own knowledge or believed to be true. I believe that the following described property and thing, namely controlled substances, including methamphetamine, cocaine, and or controlled substances prohibited by law, and paraphernalia commonly associated with sales and uses of controlled substances, items that would show controlled substance use that would not qualify as legal drug paraphernalia is or are at the premises described as, and this is a residence. I have redacted the address, so the address is out now, but it is a tar driveway leading to 51st Street, 2 stories with a 3-stall garage. Main door is located on the south and southwest entrance. Nicholas Robert Ricada, birthplace 12/16/1981 in the township of New London, Kandiyohi, state of Minnesota. I apply for the search warrant on the grounds of possession of property and property or things that can constitute evidence which show crime has been committed and tends to show a particular person has committed the crime. So they were going in, and now we're going to see, other facts which lead to other crimes being implicated, but they were going in for drugs, right? So that's an important factor here. Let's continue here. So he's obviously a licensed peace officer, state of Minnesota, since 2009. He's been employed by the sheriff's office since 2013. He's been assigned to the detective division full-time. He's focused on felony-level crimes, including criminal sexual conduct, homicide, death investigations, missing persons, fatal car accidents, burglary, theft, harassment, stalking, assaults, controlled substances, child sex abuse material, and financial crimes. These are what he has experience in, okay? Not what they're suspecting. So this is just, he's an experienced cop who's done a lot of stuff. From 2013 to 2018, Affiant was assigned to the Kandiyohi County Patrol Division for investigating street-level crimes, including driving under the influence, controlled substance, theft, burglaries, assaults, financial crimes, frauds, and domestic violence. From 2010 to 2013, he was employed as Chief of Police for Sacred Heart, Minnesota, which included administration, investigations, and patrol. So this guy has some experience. Hundreds of hours in crime scene investigation, property crimes, criminal sexual conduct, criminal interdiction, domestic violence, hate crimes, criminal sex abuse, active shooter, death investigation, aquatic death, elder abuse, vulnerable adult, financial abuse, financial crimes, firearms, less lethal munitions, diversionary devices, chemical agents, cellular phone extractions, cellular tower investigations, and evidence collection. He's certified in firearm instruction, SWAT team leader, cell phone technology, mapping and analysis, less lethal munitions, flash sound diversion, chemical agents instruction, DMT operator, boat and water, ATV, and snowmobile safety operator, Glock armor, Alice instruction, and former drug recognition evaluator. So that establishes his background. That establishes the fact that this guy has some experience, that he knows what he's doing, and that he is capable of performing this. So that's all established now. May 16th, Kandiyohi County Sheriff Sergeant David Nestor received a report of possible child neglect. So this is why it's in the title. That's why I put that there. This is something that I think is one of the biggest bombshells out of this, is that this is not, before this, it was more speculation, but this warrant was not just for the factual basis, the facts underlying this was not just controlled substance abuse, but there was potential child neglect that was suspected. And this is something that's been speculated. And this is something that was not really known before. People were saying one thing or another. Was this, neglect part of the reason why they went in or not? And now we know, confirmed, that it was. Now, does that mean, once again, let me be very clear, and I'm going to say this, right? So Nick defenders, don't get your panties in a wad here. Nick is, of course, innocent until proven guilty. He has not been proven guilty of this. What this says is the search warrant was based on possible child neglect, right? Everyone is innocent until proven guilty, but the search warrant was based on these facts. So that is That's pretty bad. And to me, this, in the analysis of this and in the public relations, having child neglect as on the table as one of the reasons here is going to be one of the most salacious details of all of this case and of this arrest of Nick Rekieta. Right. And this is something that I think is very damning from a brand management standpoint. I think this is something that Nick will feel very pressed not to react to. In fact, I might expect a reaction from him in public or in private on this. So, yeah. He resides at, obviously, the location redacted in Candiota County, resides at this residence with his wife, Kayla Christine Rekieta, date of birth 1984, and 5 children ages 6 to 16. So none of them are of the age of majority. They were all minors. Indicated 4 people from the church had gone to him reporting neglect of the children. Okay, so here it is, guys. This is another very, 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 very important detail here. Extremely important detail. Okay, because it wasn't just one person. It wasn't just one person who came over, and it wasn't just Aaron. It wasn't Aaron Imholt, from what we can see. So the reporter, the person who came and turned this in, I do not believe from these details, and we're going to see later, there's details that support this. I do not believe this was Aaron Imholt, who's one of these 4 people from quote unquote church. I don't even think Aaron Imholt goes to the same church as them. Or goes to church at all, frankly. So these people from the church reported that to the mandatory reporter, who went in and delivered the report. They also talked about possible controlled substance use and a questionable relationship with an additional couple. Okay, so now that is something that we can talk about a little bit more. See, before, this was something that was totally irrelevant. The relationship with between Aaron Imholt and April Imholt and what was going on there. Now that's become part of the search warrant. Now it's something that we can talk about, and we have to talk about, because it is a factor that was put in the search warrant, right? Now we can say, okay, this is a fact that is actually being used. Now, is it a crime to have a quote unquote questionable relationship, right? No, but it plays in with the factors and how the evidence they were looking at. So this is going to come up. This is going to come up because of that relationship and the social media they were putting out there, which, as I've said, and I say this so often in my coverage, not just of Nick Rekieta, but of VTubers, of Disney, of everything. Stuff you're putting on social media is a matter of public record. There's no interest in privacy to anything you're putting on the interwebs for everyone to view. So this is going to be very, very, very damning for them because of that nature of their jobs, because Aaron obviously is online and Nick is online as well. So Nicholas is a social media blogger. I would not call him a blogger. This is some boomer speak. I mean, to me, when I read that, I was like, what the fuck, blogger? People haven't blogged since like the 80s and 90s. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Blogging? Come on. Blogging is really outdated. These individuals were identified. Oh, sorry. His wife, Kayla, had befriended hosts from a different local social media blogger. So Kayla was the one who befriended these folks, and those people are Aaron Imholt and April Imholt. So now they become relevant, Aaron Michael Imholt and April Diane Imholt. So now the statements of Aaron Michael Imholt are looking a little bit more relevant. Let's continue. Affiant knows personally there are personalities of the Steel Toe Morning Show, which used to be in St. Cloud, Minnesota. However, as of the recent years, the show has been a social media entertainment show strictly online. It was reported that the Imholts may have been staying with the Requetas and their home was in disarray and cluttered. So this is a factor that is now reported. The cluttered and disarray of the Rekieta household has now been reported in several places, right? So you've got it in the investigation of the house, and you've got it in the search warrant as well. Now, as Steve Gosney said, this can be something that police just kind of routinely put in there. So, Steve said, hey, listen, don't put too much stock in it. But when it matches up in several areas, it doesn't start to look good. It matches up between the warrant and the statement of probable cause when they actually went into the house. So it's not a good look there. Clutter and disarray. And I think it says something for the public relations. Once again, there's the legal side, and then there's the view of the public where, Nick is, well, not having his house in order, right? It was reported by a church preschool teacher. So this is very important. Now, this to me hits home, guys, because I don't know if you guys know this about me, and this is a fact that I talk about sometimes, and people who know me for a little longer. I was an assistant youth and children's pastor, and I did teach preschool. And I just think of the kids that I taught for preschool, and I taught middle school, preschool, and elementary school kids. And I just think if I saw kids coming in a bad condition, I don't know. I don't know if I could put up with that. I really don't know if I could put up with that. It's just really tough to see. I mean, I remember even once I saw a kid and he got a black eye, but it wasn't because he said it was a friend, but I'm like, it's not good. It's not good. Children had complained of being hungry, not well fed, and wearing the same clothes for 3 or 4 days at a time, which would start to smell. This fact, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be one of the most damning in terms of PR, in terms of everything else. And it shows that there's a basis in neglect of the investigation, not just substance abuse. That is a very important factor, that they're getting reports. And by the way, here you go. The children complained. This is not the teacher. This is not the teacher saying this. Oh, they look that way. No, the children are telling the teacher that they're hungry, not fed, wearing the same clothes at the same time. That would start to smell, right? That's the damning part here. Very, very damning. Nick was reported to be lethargic and appeared high and drugged driving a car around. Not good. Not good. Another individual advised that and reported that Nick would walk out randomly during sermons and notice behavioral changes in him. I know he's talked a lot about the Scandinavian prudes. Maybe this can be the fact, maybe this is kind of what he was, maybe this is kind of what he was getting at here is the people in church were looking at him weird because they were noticing behavioral changes, and he was walking out randomly during sermons to do God knows what or for what reason, right? Kayla looked anorexic and Nick lost substantial amount of weight. So it's probably, Nick's complaining about the church and his railing about the church and the pastor is probably related to the fact that they were noticing him. So it was probably related to the fact that they were noticing him. So these things are linked, and we're going to be able to link up, and I'm sure that it's already going to be done. I'm sure the Farms is already on it, right? Of linking up these facts, right, with videos. So Nick is bitching about the prudes and the church and, the message and the all this stuff. And the issue wasn't the service. The service probably didn't change very much. To be honest, churches don't change. It was Nick that was changing because he was diving, according to these allegations, deeper into addiction. One individual described Nicholas as having injection or track marks on his arm. Now, this links up, and this factor is what may be linked up with the brown substance, which I am hoping, if it is heroin, but that would be the injection or track mark side. Because so far we've only had evidence presented, right, or rather allegations presented of cocaine and ketamine. They found cocaine and ketamine, at least based on the field test, tested positive for cocaine. And then there was also pills that were identified as ketamine. And then there's an unidentified brown substance, which will be subsequently identified, right? So that may be what's there. Now that's speculation, still has not been confirmed, but that's where that factor may play in. The reporter reiterated concerns about possible neglect and or controlled substance abuse. This is why, I mean, we were all expecting the second part, the controlled substance, but the fact that the reporter based this on possible neglect is the reason why this was not a knock, knock, knock on the door, why it wasn't a this was not a knock on the door, because it was not just controlled substance abuse. It was neglect plus. It was neglect plus. So when you do this analysis, you do have to consider that as a factor. So when we're looking at Fourth Amendment, does it stand up under the Fourth Amendment? You have to factor that in as well. The Affiant started to review the Rekieta and Immold social media blogs. Okay, now let's just say something real quick. Before today, this was pure speculation. And you guys know I don't engage in speculation. I wait for the facts. And you know what? I'm going to admit this, guys. I'm going to admit this, and I'm going to make it. This is a confession. Sometimes waiting for the facts can prevent you from being right. Because if you take a guess, if you speculate, you're sometimes right. Sometimes when you speculate, you're right. And was this a potential scenario I could have imagined in speculation? Yes. But did I want to do that? No, I did not. I did not want to speculate. But now, that we have this document, it's no longer speculation. They were looking at Nick's. They were looking at Nick's videos. They were looking at Nick's videos. And they saw what many people saw. They saw what many of the people that were critics of Nick saw. They saw evidence of abuse, of substance abuse. The blogs are related to legal issues in high-profile trials, as Nicholas is a licensed attorney. Nicholas is known to drink alcoholic beverages excessively on these video blogs. I immediately noted that Nick's appearance in the recent months have changed. Guys, this is extremely relevant. This is extremely relevant because we saw that as well. But a lot of people said, oh, it's because you're paying too much attention, because you watch all the time, because you're jaded. But what right now we're finding out is that a casual observer, someone who doesn't even know Nick at all and looks at it, would look at it and say he doesn't look well. I'm yelling because this is a very important fact. It's an important fact that a casual observer, a reasonable person, would look at Nick and say, this guy doesn't look right. And this is why you're seeing streamers all over the internet, all over YouTube, say they're looking at Nick and he doesn't look good. This was something that was maybe a speculation or people were debating it. Now it's because of this and because they're using it as evidence. We got to say this is a factor. People are looking at him and people are just saying, this guy does not look good. This guy does not look good. Let's continue here. This is rough, guys. This is really rough. In videos from January 2024 compared to May, so this is a 4-month period, Nick appears to have lost weight. He appears tired and strung out. Common with controlled substance users. Nicholas commonly refers to his studio as his basement in his own residence. Nicholas has been the victim of swatting phone calls and is known to Affiant in the Candiyohi County because of these calls. Not really cool, but he's been a subject to that. So obviously they knew who he was. While reviewing Imholt's social media blogs, Aaron recently indicated that he and April were getting a divorce. Okay, so the divorce arc is now part of the legal record. So Aaron Imholt getting a divorce is now something that is material to this. Aaron goes on to say that he experimented with cocaine 3 times and Molly 6 times in the past, in the recent past. So cocaine. So he's talking about coke and Molly. So the evidence there is Aaron has done this. The Imholtz broadcast a podcast from the Rekieta studio with the podcast saying live from Spicer. This is the Steel Toe Morning Show 12/19/23. Throughout the Imholtz video blogs, it's apparent that they and the Rekietas were friends and recently may have had a falling out. It also showed that in the recent videos of the Imholtz, April has at times appeared tired, lethargic, and strung out as well. So April not looking good in those videos, and this is a tangible fact. This is a tangible fact. In both the Nicholas and Imholtz video blogs from Rekieta's studio, it is apparent that they are in the same room and those items in the background appear the same. At one point during the Imholtz videos, Nicholas walked in the background and grabbed an item, which would show the item is not a backdrop curtain, but was that layout of the actual room. So this is the level of detail that cops are thinking about. They're literally mapping out his studio through his videos. On 5/22/2024, Imholtz did a video blog where he talked about Nicholas and insinuated controlled substance use and referred to a video blog that Nicholas put online on 5/21. So these are all very recent, guys. 5/21, 5/22. This is what really kicked this off. Imholtz indicates in this blog that Nicholas needs help, and he needs help to get the kids because of his substance abuse. So Aaron Imholtz claims were considered by police. Now this is something that is stringing together and making more sense. Now, let's be clear. Was it Aaron Imholtz going to the police? No. It was what he put on social media. So let me be very clear. It is not, Aaron Imholtz did not go to the police. His social media snitched on him. His social media snitched on him. Imholtz points out at the time where Nick has a white powdery substance on his nose. So guys, in case you haven't seen this, and this is something that's been brought up, Josh Moon of the Farms brought this up on Maddie, on his Mad at the Internet. You can see here in this video, if you look at this one right here, and this is an Alyssa Clips video, which I'm sure will get a lot of views after this. You can see right there on that tip of that horn, a white dot. Can you guys see that? You guys able to see that? The white dot right there on the tip of his nose? You guys all got that? That is something that the police thought was relevant. So this is a factor, guys. The streams that you guys watched, the streams that many of us watched, or the clips of, because I saw the clip. I didn't watch this whole stream. I frankly, guys, for me, watching Nick Rekieta descend into substance abuse was something I didn't want to watch. It is sad. I have too many friends. I have too many people that I've known, even family members that have gone this route. I can't watch whole streams, but I watch the clips. And this is fucking sad. That this man ended up having his ability as a father come into question. His family life come into question. His marriage come into question. And now his entire career and even his personal life and liberty. And it was streamed for everybody to see. And now it's being used as evidence in court. It will be used in evidence in court against him. And the worst thing too is, and I'm going to tell you this because, guys, we'll talk about this after this, and I'm not going to dox the DMs, but I'm going to tell you something that I know right now for a fact because I'm actually just looking at it right now. Nick is flipping out right now in private. And he is, I'm watching some DMs right now. He's going fucking nuts. Nick is going nuts. And I would expect that Nick may make some statements, which you probably shouldn't make, and may go live. But I'm watching him right now live as we're speaking. I'm poking my eye over. He's going fucking crazy. Your affiant was able to review the video and was taken off of Nicholas's YouTube and Rumble social media sites. The video is from 5/21/2024 and is of Nicholas in his basement studio talking about court appeals ruling he lost. He appears in the video to be drinking alcoholic substances and eventually appears under the influence of a substance or substances. The entire video blog is 4 hours and 4 minutes long. Approximately 2:46 into the video, Nick leaves to go use the restroom. When he returns at 2:50 and 2 hours and 50 minutes and 40 seconds. So literally, guys, this is the exact moment we just showed you. Your affiant, when he returns, he appears to make an excited look and has a white powdery substance on his nose. So he went to go do a line. Is what the implication is there. Not good. Not good at all. This is bad. Your affiant believes his behavior is indicative of central nervous system stimulants. Your affiant believes, based on the training experience as well, the behavior of Nicholas, that he ingested this white powdery substance through his nasal cavity while off camera. So they're using deduction to say, hey, Nick probably snorted cocaine. Off camera. Your affiant knows the training experience that the ingested controlled substance through the nasal cavity is a common amongst controlled substance users and therefore just snorting. The affiant also noted that throughout the video, Nicholas is so under the influence of a substance to the point where he has to close one eye to read his screen, rambles, and slurs his speech. So Nick's speech, Nick's presentation, Nick's decision. And let me tell you guys this. Nick's decision to stream fucked up had consequences. Nick's decision to stream fucked up had consequences. Now, Nick can be completely, let's say magical worlds, right? Magical world that Nick is able to beat these charges through Fourth Amendment. He's still got to go hire a lawyer, fight this, get it out. And the brand damage is permanent. This is going to be permanent damage to Nick, to his reputation, to his career, right? It's over. I mean, you can't draw this back in. He can improve his life. He can get sober, all that stuff. That's sure. But these facts will always be out there. And he made the decision to get on and to stream while he was one eye, slurring, intoxicated. This is why you shouldn't do it. And trying to defend streamers that are streaming super intoxicated, I think you can see here, is just fucking dumb. Don't do that. It will be used against you. Nick would obviously not be able to care for his children in this state of intoxication. So now, once again, we're looping back to the neglect. So neglect as an underlying basis for the search warrant. It should be noted that your affiant was a drug recognition evaluator for several years, and based on his training and experience, the behavior of Nicholas in his video blog indicates polysubstance use, meaning he was ingesting more than one substance, both excited and nearly passing out. This is a consistent behavior of both CNS stimulants and depressants, CNS being including cocaine. So for those that don't know, CNS includes cocaine, right? So this is very clear, very, very clear. And I think most of us that watched that objectively and had seen people, it was pretty clear there was something going on. I think all of us said there's substance abuse. We don't know what, but I think most people that watched that video said there's a clear substance abuse problem here. Anybody who's known anybody on substances knows how they look. Your affiant believes that the reports of neglect and controlled substance use are consistent with the previously mentioned information. Your affiant is requesting to search for the above listed items in relation to the welfare of the children in the home and in relation to the controlled substance investigation. Your affiant is also requesting to search Nicholas Requeta. So this was enough. This was the basis for the warrant. It's the basis for the warrant. I request a search warrant to be issued commanding Quinn Pomplum, Robbie Barnes, Nick Ardoff, Dave Nestor, Rob Twett, peace officers, state of Minnesota, and any other authorized person to enter and search between the hours of 7 a.m. and 8 p.m., search the premises described under law, and submit the results to a forensic laboratory. So we're going to get the results from the lab as well. So down here, once again, giving the search warrant, Quinn Pomplum, Robbie Burness, Nick Ardoff, Dave Nestor, Rob Twett, whatever, to search his address, redacted, for controlled substances, including methamphetamine, cocaine, controlled substance prohibited by law, commonly associated with sales and use of controlled substances, items that show controlled substance use, and drug paraphernalia. Now, I know what you're saying, and let me talk about this. Why doesn't this part talk about neglect? Well, you're not going to search the house for neglect. Neglect is the underlying fact. So neglect was a factor here, but you're not searching the house for properties or neglect is not a property or thing. So it wouldn't be included under this section. So they're searching the house for controlled substances, items, and items that show substance abuse, but they're also going to document factors such as signs of potential neglect. So the court found that probable cause exists for the issuance of a search warrant. This is what we saw. We saw the statement of probable cause. We've already seen that. We've already read that. We've already reviewed that. Go back to the previous stream. Possession of property of the above constitutes a crime. Property or things of the above constitute a crime, which tends to show crime has been committed and tends to show a particular person has committed a crime. They have reason to believe, probable cause exists to believe that the above property or things are at the premises or on the person of Nicholas Robert Requeta. So this is a good one. Somebody asked this question, did they have a warrant for just the house or for also the person? The answer was actually both. The answer was actually both. They had a warrant to search the premises and the person of Nick Requeta. So here we go. These authorized people were authorized to enter between 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. And I think we're going to get down to the inventory. This guy has bad handwriting, but so do I. But this is really freaking bad. Here's his signature. He talks about what he's got here: a snort tube of cocaine on the nightstand, a white substance, a black vial, 2 red cards that belong to April Imholt, or credit cards. Sorry, not Reddit cards. 2 credit cards. What is this? I don't know. A 22 shell casing, a Sig Sauer AR, a glass container, a baggie, a large corner cut bag of cocaine. You've got a baggie, several baggies in the safe. You've got Ziplocs with a substance in there. You've got a digital scale, a metal pan, 2 other snort tubes, the famous $100 bill with a white powdery substance. He literally had to do like the Scarface over here. He had to go down there and actually use the $100 bill. You know, he had to go for that, fill in that piece. And then you've got a scooper, 2 baggies, a Springfield Armory 45 1911. That's interesting. A Sig Sauer 38 magazines, right? Ammunition, a shotgun, and Remington 870. I have an 870, and a bullet for the master closet. So he's got all of this stuff. All this stuff. So that's the inventory that backs up what we saw in the statement of probable cause. So that's what we have for that document. Mama Oko says, seeing that it was kids who reported this pissed me off. Yes, that's another factor. That's why when Jim was saying, oh, is this probable cause good? It wasn't, according to this warrant, it wasn't a random person whining on him. It was his own kids. Guys, here's the legal fact that's damning for him. His kids. And now the statement of his kids is going to come into play. I mean, that's a damning fact. That his kid's own statement. Let's go back here. I mean, some people think I'm you guys maybe tune in. We're 8,600 people, guys. So let's rewind here. So you guys, kids come. Here it is in the warrant right here. His kids complained. Okay, his kids complained to the preschool teacher. That's the part that is the most damning. It wasn't the preschool teacher looking at it and Nick's theory, right, which he's saying in DMs right now as I speak, as I peek over into the DMs, right? He's claiming it was somebody who snitched on him, but it was his own. It appears to be his own kids. It appears to be his own kids. This, and I'm also watching Nick behind the scenes right now, coping, attacking, saying that I'm going to paraphrase because I'm not going to dox the DM, but Nick is essentially saying right now, everything is bullshit. I know who reported it. They have specific animus towards me. You know, he's giving his whole story here in DMs, and this is all going to be used against him. Someone's going to turn this in. I'm in this, you know, it's like when you've got, you know, 20, 30 people in here, right? Somebody's going to talk about it. It's stupid. Nick's acting real stupid right now. Real irrational.